Hello guys, welcome to Tumaini TV where we bring hope to the nations, and this is The Shift. The Shift is all about shifting mindset, starting up purpose and speaking life to each and every area of your life. Today we are speaking life to your finances. I want us to be financially wise, financially smart, make financially smart decisions. So today we have our guest today, Jacinta Kaigai. Karibu sana. And we'll be talking about investments today. Karibu sana. How are you doing?
I am well.
How is the economy taking you?
We are moving. we keep hearing Kasongo, but we know all of us are in the same boat and we are going to sail through.
Yeah.
Yes,
sure.
And for sure God is going to give us a victory.
Yeah. So, of course, in each and every episode, we have quick fire questions for you. Are you ready? Within 5 seconds, each and every question. Okay. Coffee or tea person?
Tea.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I thought you would pick coffee because, most people like coffee more than tea.
Tea.
Okay. I want you to describe money. Money is, within 5 seconds, money is
an answer to almost everything.
Okay. If you weren't in finance and marketing, what would you be doing right now?
I know I like photography a lot. Literally, if I'm seated and I have my phone with me, I'll be taking a photo of someone. I like capturing images and memories. And the funny thing is that myself, I'm not photogenic. I don't want to be taking photos.
But you want to take pictures of others.
And I do love capturing moments.
Okay, that's interesting. So let's get right into it. When you hear the word investments, what comes to your mind?
So investment, there's a lot that comes into my mind because it's something that people are pursuing. Everyone wants to invest, literally. When I think about investment, I think about money. I think about schemes. We call them pyramid schemes. I think about pyramid schemes and things that have gone down. I think about forex.
Okay.
I think about bonds. I think about where can I put my money and get a quick return? That's what comes into my mind when I think investment. But I also think about the real estate, and in the common Kenyan language, broti maguta maguta. I think in that French, every Kenyan is talking about that plot that they can speculate, and it translates to good money later.
So, what do you explain an investment to be, and why is it important?
Yeah, so investment is really where you put your money for a return.
Okay.
Where you put your money for a return, where you put in effort for a return. Of course, today we are talking about financial investment, but I can tell you there is investment in all areas of our lives. When you're talking of relationships, I have taken time with a friend. I've known them, maybe we have been in campus from first year, fourth year. I mean, losing that friend, that's an investment, I cook for them when they ask. I take them for shopping. Those are investments. It's where you put in your effort and time and money. And literally, sometimes we look at it only financially, but it's in all ways. But most of the time, when we're talking about an investment, there is a return. There is a result that comes with it. And whenever we talk about investments, there is an issue of risk and return. Yeah.
Okay, why is it important? When people say, I'm investing, why do you think it's important for people to invest?
Yeah, when it comes to finances, in fact, there are things we talk about investments, income, spending, saving, budgeting. But how will you grow this money that you have? And why are people talking about investing? Why are people seeking to grow their income? There is no way you will grow and become better without investing. There is no way you are going to grow your wealth, for example, without investing. And while you are at business, when you do business, where are you taking this money? Are you just laying it down? We are reminded of the story of the talent. There's the one who was given 5 talents. They took their 5 talents and it
Congratulations.
became 10.
Yeah.
The one who was given 2, they became 4.
Oh.
But there's the one who took 1. Now that one did not invest. In fact, when it comes to the principles of God, the stewardship that comes with that scripture of Matthew, is it Matthew 24? That scripture of the talents.
Yeah.
It talks about stewardship, and part of stewardship is, you know, multiplying what you have, increasing what you have, whatever resource that you have, causing it to be more. And because ideally everything that we have as a seed, it grows.
Okay.
Most of whatever God has given us, even when He told us to subdue, take dominion, multiply. It's that base. It's on that basis. Yeah. So investments need to be stewarded, managed, and grown. Whatever you have, whatever resources you have, mostly it's money, needs to be to grow,
to increase,
to expand. You know, Jabez praying, "Oh, that you bless me indeed and
enlarge
enlarge my territory."
Yeah.
That is the kind of thing you're talking about when you're talking about investment.
Okay. You have talked about saving. What's the difference between saving and investing?
Wow. Now I'll say about savings. In fact, when we talk about investments, it's very hard for you to do investments without saving. So investments is like a foundation, it's like a basis, because savings is more about setting aside money. Now you're taking me back to almost giving you the foundations of money. I have talked about finance. When we talk about finance starts with an income. You know, how am I making money? Am I working? Is it a salary? Is it a gift? From that income, in matters finance, there's a finance part, there's an income part, then there's a spending part. I have received my salary, it's 10,000. I've used rent, I've bought shopping. There's now the savings part, setting aside something for use in the future. For use in the future. And whenever I think about saving, I think about Joseph and the story of the 7 years of scarcity and 7 years of plenty. And it is the saving that helped them to prepare for the years of scarcity. So savings is literally setting aside money and setting aside the little that you have. You know, it's even crop. I planted my farm. I harvested 10 bags of maize. You know, there are only 2 seasons in a year. My potato, I need to save. So you have a granary where, okay, nowadays there are stores. I have a store, because people put in mutungis, plastic mutungis, where weevils cannot find them. So so that there are no weevils and they don't rot. This is how you store them in a good mutungi, airtight. If you can't be able to do that, or these there are these sacks that have 2 layers, polythene and
the guinea itself.
So those ones are also very good for storage. So that is saving. And there is a person who will save, who will just save and keep them aside and not use them, just wait for the time of scarcity. But there is also the one who saves and now invests. Invest is causing whatever you have saved to increase or to grow, or to and when we talk about now the distinction between savings and investments, our savings will help us to put into investments. So for a long time, you found people putting money in the bank, in a kahapo. Some people putting money in the mattress, under the mattress, because they fear the bank, or some think they are not literate. They don't know how to read and write. Wanaogopa kuibiwa, wengine tu ni literacy level. So they simply just put their money. Wanaweka tu kabahasha, wanafungua katini. Wanaweka pesa, wanangoja ile. When they need the money, they sell and they put. So the investment thing has to do with haba na haba, slow by slow. You grow. Even investments come that way. You want to build. There are many types of investments, but I hope I have tried to demystify savings versus investment. And it's a rule. Whatever income you have, if possible, with time, you should save at least 30%.
30%. If you are earning 10K.
If you're
3,000
unintentional,
should be on
actually the
savings.
savings aspect also has to do with the tithing, the setting aside. You know, lazima ujirudishie shukrani.
Oh.
You know, start with yourself, pay yourself first. And don't say that eating and drinking is paying yourself first. You know, those are your rent, your what is not really paying yourself first. Those are basic needs. There's that paying yourself first, you know. Even if I just do a kamutura, you know, a 10 bob one, even if I just do a roasted maize along the road, at least give yourself. And then remember to give back to God. And then there's that setting aside for a rainy day. And that setting aside for a rainy day, instead of just putting it as a mattress, where can it multiply? And that's where now we're talking about investment.
Okay, can you talk a little bit of types of investments? Don't go
too deep. So there are many types of investments, and there's a financial side. That's the one most people would relate with. Most people would relate with because of hearing, but not understand. They might not even understand. We talk about shares and stocks. So in the times of the Gen X, is it Gen X? Our baby boomers, our parents, the ones above 60 and above, them, they knew stocks. They would buy the Kenya Power share, the KCB Bank share, the Safaricom, now Generation Y are the ones who found Safaricom, Kengen shares, those shares, buying equity, owning a part of a company for dividends. And if you need to translate that, that is part of investing. So I have 1,000 bob, I can put a little of it into KCB, I can put a little bit into Safaricom, I can put a little bit into Kenya Power. Then that's a way of investing. So there are also bonds, infrastructure bonds, the treasury bills. This is putting money in banks, in government. Government always requires financing. Means financing, they don't get it far, they still get it from us. The money that we have, we put it in treasury bills and treasury bonds and infrastructure bonds. So these bonds, when they want to build like the Thika Superhighway, that's what they do. They put up a bond and they borrow directly from us. And they promise you a return after 10 years, after 15 years. There's an interest that you get every half yearly. Is it that long?
After 15 years?
The shortest can be from 3 years to 25 years. Yes. 10 years. Like right now in May, they are launching. We are at the end of today is the last day. Okay.
Today is the last day of May.
But yeah, basically they launched 3 bonds, and they have different maturity periods. The shortest one I think is 7 years, 10, 13 years, and they have an interest rate. So there's also Forex is also investing.
Okay.
Yeah, you can put money in the money markets. They might not have a very high return, but the money markets are part of the T-bills. They are a modified way of the unit trust. We call them unit trust. Then of late there is what we call REITs. REITs.
REITs.
The real estate investment. I don't know the full name, but they are you are investing in real estate firms, and with it's a very recent investment vehicle.
Like investing in Optiven.
Yes.
Is it like that?
Yes.
So what are the best options for someone who is starting to invest in Kenya?
Yeah, so I had already mentioned the rates, the investing in land. I had already mentioned the cryptocurrencies, and the unit trusts and the special funds. So the easiest entry point in money markets. Money markets. Money market is the easiest. It's almost savings and investments. Money markets have almost a predetermined rate. They have the least risk and also not as high a return, because I said with investments there's always risk and return, and the higher the risk, the higher the return. The lower the risk, the lower the return. So why I'm saying money markets is because they allow you to save. It's very easy to liquidify. You know, once you set up a money market fund, we call them unit trusts. Once you purchase a unit trust, whether a money market, an equity fund, a balanced fund, or the bond, the fixed, the bonds, there's those 4 types. And most people are familiar with money markets. So when you put money there, once you start saving, you can start from as low as 1,000. You can start there are different companies. Investment companies and insurance companies sell this product. You can start from as low as 100. I know an investor who sells at 100. You start off at 100. You can also start at 1,000. You can start at 2,500. And they go up to companies that you can start off at 100,000. But what is the thing about money markets? Once you put in your money, you can access that money within 24 hours of request. So you see, it's easy to liquidify. It's not in the bank. It's not an ATM, but this is an investment that is earning some interest. It's earning some interest. Even if it earns, I always say, even if it earns 1 bob, it is better off. There is nothing small about investments. And when I say money markets, and why I say they're the simplest or the easiest for any Kenyan to try and explore. Currently, the interest rates, their per annum interest rates range from 10 to 12%. So basically, if you have 10,000, you know that you might make 100 bob per month. But this money is compounded. I'm just using a flat rate. If it's 10,000, you'll make 1,000 a year. But generally, this 1,000 you're making is every day. It's been compounded. It's been reinvested. So it's growing. There's a power with investments. There are two things. Time value of money. And time value of money talks about compounding. That a shilling today, when you put it in, will be 5 shillings. Tomorrow will be 10 shillings. You know, today it grows to 1.1 and 10 cents. That compounding effect is very powerful. And it's one of the best things. And so that principle is applied by money markets. But then also land. If you can review clearly that I can purchase, you can also invest in business. Actually, you have 10,000. I know I can sell something I like. Instead of money sitting in your bank, why don't you explore a good business and you still invest? Come in together as friends. Come in. They have, and also there is a chama issue. Chamas are really doing major investments, and I'll say coming together. Your 1,000 might not do anything for you, but if you decide to invest in a business, 10 of you, you find everyone brought 100,000 on the table. It's now 1 million. You can open that restaurant. That restaurant gives you a return. Yeah, so there are very simple options. I would say the money market, and if you are daring enough, get into business. If you are daring enough, you know, chamas and land. These are ways of multiplying. They help you multiply money faster.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I want a long-term investment, where do I begin? If I want something to go on for a very long time.
The long-term investments actually. The first one I will pick is the shares and stocks, the bonds. And when we are talking about shares and stocks, is that they don't give a return in the early years. So like when the Safaricom shares, they go up and down, they keep going up and down. So, and because of the natural business cycle, there's a time business is doing very well, and then it comes down, goes up, and the same, how a business performs is it affects the cost of the share. So like when Safaricom started very high, then it went low, then now it started peaking. In fact, I use Safaricom because everyone, it's common knowledge. But when you want to now do shares and the long-term investments, the best is shares and bonds. And if you're looking to get into them, there are sectors, we call them the sectors in the industry that you will definitely find them in the Nairobi Stock Exchange. Banking, the biggest banks, KCB, CoopBank, Equity. Choose one. Very simple. Energy sector, Kenya Power, KenGen. Choose one. Insurance sector, Sanlam. Choose, Britam. Choose one. Very easy, and you only need some of these investments. I'm saying you only need 1,000, and you grow. You continue. This month you have 1,000. You start. You buy a few shares. Next month you buy. If the cost of a share is 20 bob, you buy. You continue growing your investments. So the shares are the easiest for long term, but even land,
it's a long term investment.
It's also a long term investment. You don't expect that you bought a piece of land at a certain place. Let's even pick Lanet, Barnabas area. I'm seeing that area in Nakuru growing very fast. You buy there because of course you can see all the things that are coming up on that side. We are definitely expecting the dual carriage to expand from past Limuru. We are expecting the dual carriage from Naivasha up. It grows up to Mau Summit. So when we are talking of speculation, you can start seeing, where can I buy land, and where will the stops be? Like when the SGR started, there are people who started eyeing along the SGR and the station. So you start looking at investments in that way. It might not materialize today, but 10 years, 5 years, with the overflow, the Nakuru city, Barnabas will overflow. Where will people go? Is it Pipeline? Is it Lanet? Is it past Ngata and above there? So you start looking at investments. Those places, after 5-10 years, is when you will start cashing in, because those towns become major.
Okay. So let's say I'm a student.
Yes.
And I have that 100 bob. Where can I invest this 100 bob?
Yeah, you can invest it in there are investment banks that allow you to start at 100 bob. And I was just to mention, they are online, they are apps. I might not want to mention the names, but for I know, like they are there. Those 100 bob you put. And they're even saving platforms. Can I mention the names now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like Etika, as a student, if you go to Etika, it's an investment company. You will put 100 bob and you can be putting every other day. There's another product I know it's called Chums. Chums. I know most students might already be knowing it. You are able to put your money in Chums, and you, even for it, minimum of 100, it starts very low. Any amount of money you have, it's partnered with one of the investment banks. I think they are partnered with Nabo Capital, also a big investment bank. But also, they are the apps for banks nowadays. They are allowing you to put money and put goals. You know, they are allowing you to save little money and earn something. So whenever you're putting money in apps, look for the option in that app that allows you for your money to earn an interest.
Okay, as we wind up, because our time is not on our side, what advice would you give to someone who is so afraid to put money in investments because he or she is afraid to lose the money in investments?
Yeah, I needed to say this, that the hallmark of investment is discipline. Haba na haba hujaza kibaba.
Okay.
Do not go for quick fix schemes. Do not go for schemes that are giving you very high returns. You know, you've had recently, I know the people heard of the CBEX scandal. I know there are people who know this big investment company where they lost a lot of money. I don't want to mention the company, but it's a very big company that was doing investments in the unit trust, and people lost money in a high yield product. So there's that. Whenever you see high return, be very careful, because you are due to there. Every investment has a maturing period. Just like business, I said, don't expect to make profits in a year. If that was the case, Proverbs 3:11 says that anywhere you're making quick money, it will, as soon as you make quick money, it will dwindle as fast. But whatever is given time, it will grow. So what will I say about a person who wants to do investment? The first thing you need to do is just to vet the company. Who are you investing with? Do not do the due diligence. If it is land you want to purchase, go the process, do the search. Do the search, know who the owners are, get a lawyer to do the contract for you. If it is that money market, do a background check on, like the companies I've mentioned. How long have they been in investment? What are they promising? Are they regulated by Central Bank of Kenya if it's a bank? Are they regulated by SASRA if it's a SACCO? Are they regulated by CBK? Especially for investments, it's Capital Markets Authority.
Capital Markets Authority.
Yes, most investment banks must be registered by Capital Markets Authority, but go a step further. The product that company is selling, is it also regulated? Because what happens? A company can have a product it can have the BASOP, which is regulated by KEBS, but there is a product here, they are doing a bleach that is not regulated, haina the standard mark. So the company is regulated by KEBS. The product, the BASOP, we know is regulated, but there is a product. So the same happens with investments. The unit trust is regulated, but the high yield product is not. So I know I'm buying from Britam, I'm buying from Saiton, I'm buying from Sanlam, I'm buying from Nabo, I'm buying from, I want to mention the companies, I'm buying from SIB, I'm also buying from Faida Investment Bank, Standard Investment Bank, but they are products that are not regulated. You need to make a check. And how long? The longer the company has been in the market, the better, because the standard time of business, 7 years and above, there is maturity, there is break even, they stand the test of time.
Okay, so as we wind up, where can people find you?
Yes, people can find me on LinkedIn. They'll find me under the name Jacinta Kaigai. They can find me on Instagram under JN Kaigai. But also, if you just want to make a query to me, you can just send an email to me at jacintacaigai@gmail.com. That's simple.
Thank you so much for coming today. Thank you for the insight. I've learned a lot personally, and I hope that you have learned a lot too. Hope you'll make better investment choices as we move on. Thank you so much for joining us today. I've been your host, Vivian Jason. Remember to follow us on all our social media platforms. That is Tumaini TV KE. Till next time, same place, same time. Bye-bye.